Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. Today let's learn something about NAFIS. The full form of that is National Automated Fingerprints Identification System. Very recently, our Home Minister Amit Shah inaugurated the National Automated Fingerprint Identification System, NAFIS for short, on Wednesday, August 17th, at the two-day National Security Strategy Conference 2022 held in New Delhi. As the name suggests, this system is related to scanning fingerprints, storing them, and using them for betterment of society. And there is a really good saying related to that is that faces can lie, but fingerprints never. Conceptualized and managed by NCRB at the Central Fingerprint Bureau in New Delhi, the National Automated Fingerprints Identification System project is a countrywide searchable database of crime and criminal related fingerprints. So let's look at the history of using fingerprints. So the story of fingerprint in fighting crime began in Bengal almost 150 years ago. A system of fingerprint identification first emerged in colonial India, where it was tested before it spread to Europe and beyond. At first, it was used by British colonial officials for administrative purposes rather than criminal purposes. William Herschel, the chief administrator of the Hooghly district of Bengal, from the late middle 1800 onwards, used fingerprint to reduce fraud and forgeries. In order to ensure that the correct person was receiving government pensions, signing land transfer deed, and mortgage bonds. The growing use of fingerprinting was deeply tied to how 19th century British officials understood crime in India. Entire social groups were categorized as racially distinct criminal tribes and were deemed to be professional criminals from time immemorial. However, the trouble that they faced was in identifying these groups from the ordinary criminals, something that the British found particularly difficult in such a diverse country as our India. Tracing a single set of fingerprints from a large collection of fingerprint cards required a workable system of classification. While similar attempts were made in England and beyond, the Bengal police were able to create fingerprints record which replaced the use of anthropometric measurements by 1897, when the world's first fingerprint bureau was established in Calcutta. The Inspector General of Bengal Police, Edward Henry, recruited two Indian sub-inspectors, Azizul Haq and H.C. Bose, for this task. They devised a system of primary classification and a system for indexing names in court conviction registers. Henry, however, declined to acknowledge the crucial contribution of his Indian subordinates when he presented the so-called Henry system of classification in England in 1901 and established a fingerprint bureau in Scotland Yard. It was only in 1925 that Henry admitted the invaluable efforts of Huck and Bose to the system of classification, for which the colonial state bestowed on them the titles of Khan Bahadur and Rai Bahadur. So let's see how is it now in today's modern technology. Upon the recommendations of National Police Commission in 1986, the Central Fingerprint Bureau first began to automate the fingerprint database by digitizing the existing manual records through India's first automated fingerprint identification system, AFI for short, in 1992, called Fingerprint Analysis and Criminal Tracing System, FACS 1.0. The latest iteration, FACS 5.0, which was upgraded in 2007, was considered to have outlived its shelf life, according to a 2018 report by the NCRB, and thus needed to be replaced by NAFIS. NAFIS assigns a unique 10-digit national fingerprint number, NFN for short, to each person arrested for a crime. This unique ID will be used for the person's lifetime, and different crimes registered under different FIRs will be linked to the same NFN. The 2020 report states that the ID's first two digits will be that of the state code in which the person arrested for a crime is registered, followed by a sequence number. By automating the collection, storage, and matching of fingerprints, along with digitizing the records of fingerprint data, NAFIS will provide the much needed unique identifier for every arrested person in the CCTNS Crime and Criminal Tracking Network and System Database, as both are connected at the backend. Former NCRB Director Ram Phal Power had said in December 2020. It uses pattern, class, core and delta information, direction, ridge counts and distances, density, type, print background, foreground information, etc. for matching fingerprints. It also stores non-fingerprint information or demographic details like gender, region, and conviction details. Let's see at the first use case of this new system, NAFIS. In April 2022, Madhya Pradesh became the first state in country to identify a deceased person through NAFIS, according to a PTI report. Reportedly, the identification of the deceased led to the registration of a murder case based on circumstantial clues. An unidentified body was found lying in the forest of village Raigaon under Kurai police station of the Sioni district on April 24. Following the information, Sione's fingerprint expert Ritu Uke collected the fingerprints of the dead person and then used NAFIS workstation in the district, said the public relation official at the police. The deceased was identified as Ishwar Singh, a resident of Lasudia, Amra. He was held in a theft case under the limits of Makdon police station in the Ujjain district in 2017. Let's see what's the way forward. What do you think are some of the largest fingerprint databases in our world? China, India, and USA. Now let's look at their individual capacity. China has 300 million fingerprints. India has 8 million fingerprints. And USA has 1.1 million fingerprints. But guys, do you know about the world's largest fingerprint database? It's in India. It's our Aadhaar. It's the world's largest database of fingerprints and biometrics. With a biometric database many times larger than any other in the world, Aadhaar's ability to leverage automated fingerprint and iris modalities and potentially automated face recognition enables rapid and reliable automated searching and identification impossible to accomplish with the fingerprint technology alone, especially when searching children and elderly residents' fingerprint. Children are fingerprint and photographed as young as age 5. As of March 2021, the authority has issued more than 1.29 billion, more than 129 crores Aadhaar. Isn't that something to be proud of? So, the next question comes is why can't we use Aadhaar data to solve the criminal cases? So here, the UIDAI said in its affidavit that sharing or use of biometric information for any use other than the generation of the Aadhaar number and authentication is impermissible. The UIDAI, it added, does not have the technology to match fingerprints, etc., found at the scene of a crime with those available in its database. It does not collect biometric information including iris scan and fingerprints based on technology or procedures suitable. Guys, we have reached the end of the video. Here you can find the references that have been used. And with that guys, stay healthy, stay happy. Thank you for watching.